HSBC. I'm Jenny Crosby.
We'd love to give you a demo, but I'm just short on field staff right now.
Mark's medical VR training firm has seen an upturn in demand. He needs more sales reps to keep his profit margin healthy.
I hope to have someone in the area next month.
Indeed can help him find great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Indeed is the hiring platform that can match you with candidates who meet your requirements.
My boots on. Fortunes from a whole range of different areas, from stairlifts to shipping containers to supermarkets to petrol pumps and portaloos, and includes a Catholic priest, the King, the Prime Minister, and Britain's first billionaire musician. It's got 350 individuals on it and families with a combined wealth of 795 billion, topped by Gopi Hinduja and his family for the third successive year in a row, and they are estimated to have a fortune of 37 billion. But it is actually Rishi Sunak who I wanted to just focus on for a second, because he's doing reasonably well. He and his wife were worth 730 million a couple of years ago. They've gone down. They're up on last year, but they went down the previous year. They're now at 651 million. So not bad. This is from the latest list today. And this is partly due to his wife's shares in Infosys. She owns a share in the company that IT company that her father rather started, a very successful self-made man. And Rishi Sunak was not sure what a bob or two before his wife. I just want to talk about this for a second, because I personally don't have any issue with Rishi Sunak and his millions, and I'll come to all of this in a second. But do you? Because I often hear this charge that Rishi Sunak is simply too rich to understand the issues of ordinary people, and that he's simply too rich to be Prime Minister, and this is actually playing out, and this was a concern that some people had when he became PM. This is actually playing out in some of the policies he's chosen to prioritise, and instinctively, because he will always be there for the rich and will not understand the everyday travails of those who are struggling to get by. And the average wage in this country, the average about 35k a year. So my question to you is this, and I don't like to personalise this, it's not really about Rishi Sunak at all, but it's a symptom of a bigger issue. Is Rishi Sunak too rich to be Prime Minister? Is Rishi Sunak too rich to be Prime Minister? 0345 6060 973. You can text on 84850 or ask Alexa to send a comment to LBC. Is Rishi Sunak too rich to be Prime Minister? Now, I'll give you my view on this. I think it's a great thing that Rishi Sunak's parents, who were a doctor, a GP and a pharmacist, worked hard, very hard, and decided to send their son to one of the best public schools in this country at great personal expense. And I'm sure that they made huge sacrifices to do it, as do many parents up and down this country who are not minted, quite frankly. Yes, they were middle class, but they weren't necessarily minted, but they decided that they wanted to send him to one of the best schools in the country. Why? Principally because it would be a good, hopefully a good, return on investment. Now, Rishi Sunak is a man from the, he's got a financial background. There's a concept in financial markets called the internal rate of return. Well, I can tell you the internal rate of return for Rishi Sunak's parents on the investment that they made in his education is extremely good. I mean, extremely good. You could say it's at private equity levels, quite frankly. This guy went to, yes, a very privileged public school, but he did extremely well. Became head boy, then went to Oxford, got a first-class degree, then went to Stanford, one of the best universities in the world, to do his MBA. He then met his wife, married well, you could say, good for him, who wouldn't want to, and then had a very successful career before he entered politics, working in investment banking and hedge funds. I have no problem with that at all. And I do think it's, at times, it is a little bit, I think it's a little bit remiss, frankly, of us to be attacking people who do well and who work hard and who've got aspirations. I don't think that's the country that I want to live in at all. Do I care what kind of loafers he wears on a building site in Teesside? Apparently 495 Prada loafers. Simply don't care. Actually, what I would be more concerned about, what I care more about, is a bit of competence in government. That's what I care about, running this country properly for everyone. And you simply can't walk a mile in every person's shoes, right? So to say that Rishi Sunak, in my view, is too rich to be PM is the most ridiculous, unpleasant, lacking in aspiration thing to say. If he's wealthy, good for him. I will judge him on what he does, not how much wealth he has in his bank account. And if he's got 651 million, good for him. Good for him. I don't care if he's got a beautiful mansion in his Yorkshire constituency or he's got a mansion in Kensington or whatever he has. Good for him. What I care about is the country being run properly, and I care about this. I care about something else much more deeply than Rishi Sunak's wealth. And I say this as a unrequited capitalist who understands that the capitalist system at the moment is not working for everyone, and it's not working effectively, and it has not been working for some time now, and that worries me, because if capitalism doesn't sort itself out, it will eat its own face. And why do I say this? You can't have a society sustainably where the richest 1/5 have 5 times the income of the poorest 1/5. You just can't have it. You can't have a situation where 1% of people in the UK achieve around 14% of the national income. That's around 300,000 people. And on top of that, 10% of all the wealth in this country, right, the top 10% account for 44% of all the wealth, right? So you've got the top 1% achieving 14% of national income, and the top 10% owning 44% of all the wealth in this country. That is simply not sustainable. Now, if I remind you that, yes, we have serious problems in this country in terms of debt at 2.5 trillion of public debt, we've got 400 billion of borrowing on the back of COVID, all of these things, that's all fine. I understand the issues that we have. And all I want to see is billionaires and millionaires and people who create wealth in this country pay their fair share and understand that instead of philanthropy, and this is something that Rutger Bregman, the Dutch economic historian, said at Davos a few years ago when we went there for the first time, saying, I'm overwhelmed being here in Davos. Everyone's talking about climate change, but everyone's flying on private jets. Stop talking about philanthropy and start talking about paying their taxes. Just pay your taxes. So when you have people that don't obey the ethics code, it's not sure of it, they made a lot of money for you, unfair play, set it up, good for you, more power to your elbow, sir. Just pay your taxes. Don't try and evade taxes and then get done for tax fraud where you have to pay 650 million to the Exchequer. Well, you could have just paid the 400 million in the first place. Why bother? Why go down that road to get a suspended sentence? Why bother Joe Lewis getting involved in an insider dealing issues? I mean, why? If you're very wealthy, I think it bestows an extra responsibility on you to try and help other people to achieve that aspiration and that success. So in my view, we've got 2 issues here. One is, I think in this country, we really poo-poo and frown on aspiration. We look down on people who do well. We're jealous. We're envious. I don't think that's a good thing at all. I think it's corrosive to our society that we look at